more. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Happy International Women's Day. My name is Builder Mrs. Victoria Ghana. I'm from Association of Professional Women Builders. So I got to know about this program when I came to pick my sanitary wares yesterday. And part of what we're talking about now, recognizing ourselves, for women in construction, a seminar to be holding today. I think for next time, the organizers should try and meet the professionals in the construction industry and make sure all of them are part of this. Now that we've been invited, I hope we're going to be able to have a collaboration with you so that, because like she said, that we need to help each other, and that's it. So the main, like we now, we work on site. We studied building in school. We actually work on site. After the architects finish, it's the builder that goes to site, not just the engineers. We have building technology. It's a registered profession. So we should, there's Association of all professional women in ACOEM also. They have that. Our leaders are part of them. So that for next time when such programs are going on, you contact those leaders so that we can all work together as one. And as one, as a strong body, I'm telling you, there's no limit that women cannot go when we put our mind to it. Thank you.
Thank you to the organizers. Architect Zuleha, I yield the mic.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you should actually take pictures. You come this way. Let's take our pictures. Where's it at now? Thank you very much. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was really a power-packed session. Thank you.
So I'll let you know when to play the video. This is the video. Do you understand?
It was a really beautiful session. For me, I took a whole lot. A whole lot. Thank you so much. You know, engineers, architects, and all of that. If you didn't know about this program coming on, we are so sorry about that, but it gets better. I think we are looking forward to even better next time. And also, speaking to next time, please can you, you're always free to take pictures, post on social media, use our hashtags. We have embracing equity and equality. Also, don't forget to tag the partners, the sponsors, and all of that is actually very important. Thank you. Just so we can come back next year to do something even better than this. Then we had something on the screen that's supposed to be. We had what's it called? I can't remember the word. We had a barcode that you could scan to get the itinerary for this program. I'm so sorry I didn't mention that earlier. So when you see it next time, you can just scan to know what's going to happen next. So for now, after this beautiful session, for me, I learned a whole lot, like I said, from supporting women, pushing each other. You know, there's this popular statement, we rise by lifting others. So it was like beautiful, really good. It was a very nice one. Thank you so much for the team that came out. So next on our list will be calling on, or rather a round of applause as we invite Architect Zuleha again to the stage as she tells us more about the Builders Show 2023. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The last panel discussion, it was a wonderful discourse and we really appreciate you. Next, I would like to call on Bright Jaja, the CEO of iCreate Africa, to introduce the 2023 Builders Show to all of us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Permission to sit down, please. My leg hurts. I've been walking the whole day. Thank you. So I'm going to try to see how we can, thank God, more men. Jesus Christ, I was praying. You're welcome. Please come inside. I'm gonna try and see how we can make this a little bit more lively, because I mean, right now it looks very, it's like this is a church event. Let's turn up a little bit. Now, my name is Bright Jaja, if you don't know. I'm the CEO and founder of iCreate Africa. iCreate Africa is a human capital development organization that is focused on empowering young people across all trades. Now, I'm going to give you guys a background of why we exist and why we do what we do, right? It is very important that you understand that iCreate idea of what that future look like. But before I do that, we're going to do a quick exercise. If everybody here is a mother, I mean, probably like 90% of people here are mothers, right? Right? Good. If your child walks up to you, probably at 15 or 18 years old, and he or she says, I would like to be a mason when I grow up. If you accept that, raise your hand up. Wow. Okay, we'll do another one again. If your child comes and say, oh, I'd like to be a carpenter, when that's the profession I want to do when I grow up, if you would accept that as a mother, if you encourage that as a mother, raise your hand up. Okay, good. Now, you see when we say mason, a lot of people brought their hands down. When we say carpentry, just very few people raise their hands up, and everybody here is in construction. So what is the future of construction exactly? Right? Who's going to build our houses in the future? Who are you guys counting on? Exactly. I want to understand. No, I really want to understand, because, I mean, the guys that are in oil and gas, they really don't care. The guys that are in technology really don't care. Somebody said, if something happens in this world right now and all our technology and a bunch of, let's say 50% of the population just dies, we're done. Because a lot of you don't even know how to fix a plane, how a plane was designed. So if we start all over again, planes, cars, phones, technology, we probably need another 200 years to start inventing, because people just focus on what they focus on and they don't care about the rest. Am I saying the truth? Right? So we are all here. This is not the first time I'm doing this exercise. Every single time I find myself in a place where there are construction, professionals, I ask these questions, and nobody wants their children to be this thing. So who do you expect to build the houses? Really, I'm waiting for an answer. This is not, like, somebody should tell me. That is the future. And we're not just talking about, apart from the fact that we live in a generation that longs for attention. People wake up every morning, and young people wake up every morning, and what makes them happy or sad is how many likes they have on their Instagram pictures. Like, that is the new cool. Now, how do you expect for them to post a selfie and say, oh, I'm out here in this construction site laying these bricks? Or, oh, I'm out here doing this plastering or this tiling. You think that is cool for them to show? No, they're going to show you makeup videos. Right? The new industry is the influencing industry. Everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody wants to crack jokes and do funny videos. The future of Africa is in trouble. And the reason why, for me personally, this is very, very important, is that every single one of us here, the women, not the men, because the men, our head is just somewhere else, all over the place. The women, because the women are nurturers, the women are the backbone of society. It's in your hands to help shape that. Now, I totally understand why you would not want your child to be any of this go to any of these professions. Because it's not rewarding. There's a negative stereotype. The future, you as a mother, you know that you're going to get old at some point, you're going to retire, you're going to retire from working, and your child will not be able to take care of you because he doesn't make enough money. All of that are problems that we understand, but how can we change that? Because in the UK, plumbers are making money. Masons are making money. So how can we change that in Nigeria? How can we change that in Africa? Let's not forget the opportunities that are coming our way. In the next 20 years, we're going to have over 1.5 billion people in the workforce across Africa. 1.5 billion. Workforce is just human beings with the age to work. But without human capital, without skills, it's just a working body. So the whole world is going to turn to Africa for work, just the way they're turning to India and China right now, but Africa is coming. But when they turn to Africa, what's going to happen? We're going to be shooting TikTok videos and send it to them. What are we going to do? It is important that we prioritize technical and vocational skills, empower our young people with the skills now, and prepare them for the opportunity. And how do we do that? Through the Builders Show. So we're just going to play a quick video of what the Builders Show is about for construction, and then I'll just let you guys know how we can work together to make it happen. Thank you. Hello everyone, it's Bright Jaja, and I'm excited to announce the 6th edition of the Builders Show, the largest gathering of construction workforce in Africa. The Builders Show is an international trade fair dedicated to the construction workforce. Everyone involved in planning, designing, and building is represented here. The event will showcase the entire spectrum of innovation capabilities and amazing range of products and services.
As I said, iCreate is a great partner to raise public awareness. We also have engaged private sector companies like Sterling Bank, like Bosch, that help to raise the perception of TVET.
And then the part that resonates a lot with me is changing the narrative. I love that part a lot because you find out that our younger generation wouldn't want to associate with the narrative we currently have in this sector. With iCreate Skill Fest changing this narrative, it is worthy of partnership.
Of course, without education, there is no development. And this event is very, very important to the country at large.
So we have a lot of informality in the system, and with that informality causes a lot of economic leakages, inefficiencies.
The event will feature skills competition, high-level display of technical skills in painting, plumbing, tiling, carpentry, welding, and electrical installation, exhibition of building materials, tools, and building technology, panel discussion with global construction experts discussing the future of sustainable construction, award and recognitions, and networking.
Bringing all the industry professionals and stakeholders together like this in this kind of event, while showcasing the skills that we have here, it's so important.
Come join this movement, because this is a movement. We want to change the narrative.
For sponsorship and partnership, call us now so we can shape the future of construction together. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that is the Builders Show. This held last year, April, at the International Conference Center. But just to give you an idea of what we're trying to achieve, we want to rebrand skills. So when you saw the video, you would see that we have a skilled professional, we have a student next to them. And when you see the setting, it looks like a Grammy Award. Like, we spend a lot of money to go an extra mile to make it look like a global event. This event was featured on CNN for 6 minutes across the world. You can literally go to the CNN website right now and it's there. They literally brought the entire crew to come and cover the event. And the idea is just to put African skills on the global map. Let them know that we have what it takes. But at the same time, encouraging the next generation of young people, let them understand that skills is cool, right? In the next couple of months, we're going to feature the winners of this competition on the Guardian Life magazine cover, which is the first time ever you would have a plumber, a painter, a tiler sharing the same cover with Tony Lumelu and the rest of Dangote and the rest of them, right? We want young people to know that you can be there too. What you're doing is important. What you're doing is what keeps society together. They are the real superheroes who are sitting on chairs and standing on floors because people actually decided to leave making funny videos on Instagram, to go on site and carry the pan on their head and lay these bricks of society, right? And we need to create a system that encourages them, that increases the pay and also increases their value in society, right? And that's what we're trying to do with the Builders Show. Now, the Builders Show is coming up first to the 3rd of June, right? And this year, we are taking it to the next level. This one you just watched now is the 5th edition. We did this in Kaduna, in Enugu, Abuja twice, and we had one very huge one in Lagos at the Landmark Center. We want to take it out of Nigeria for the first time. So we're partnering with the African Union to invite 7 African countries who would bring all their skilled professionals, so Togo, Kenya, Ghana, they will bring their skilled professionals to come and compete against other countries. It's going to be the first ever African skills event. And it's happening here in Abuja, right? This sounds like it's a vision. It's not a vision, it's going to happen, it's real. In the next couple of months, it's going to happen. But it can't happen without everyone in this room, right? Now, I'm not about to do a fundraising event. This is not a fundraising. I just want everybody here to understand that they have a role to play, from even just posting the video or posting the content, or telling somebody about it, or sharing the website to somebody, just letting people know about this event. Can CNBC, BBC, everybody's going to cover that event. Now, whether you're an architect here, or an engineer, or a QS, you have a role to play, because we design all the things that you see them executing are designed by architects. So we design test projects where, we get to give them a certain task for them to execute within a timeline. We need every single person in this room to be part of the planning committee. In fact, we need 1,000 people to be part of the planning committee, because we want this to be the most successful event ever held in Africa. And we can do it, right? So if you're interested to be part of this, I just want you to raise your hand up. We're gonna, Miracule's has my card, my personal card, and just send me a WhatsApp message that says, I am in. That's all. And I know exactly what to say. Just send me a message that says, I'm in, and we'll do this together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Bright. At least that was an eye-opener for us. So we know what to do better. We know how to go about our situation, pushing women out there. We know what to do about the whole process now. Thank you so much, Mr. Bright, once again. Challenges of women on equity and equality in the construction industry. And this presentation will be done by someone very special. The chair, a round of applause as I call Architect Yemi Shola Adebiyi for this presentation. A round of applause as she comes to her seat, please, for a brief presentation. Oh, you'll be standing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Happy International Women's Day 20. I'm honored to be here. I do not take this invitation for granted. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So, women in construction segment, equity and equality. Okay, in the content, a bit of introduction. We're going to be looking at historical background, industry myths, misconception, and challenges. There's quite a number of that, just like the panelists mentioned. The perspective and narratives needs to change, and we must be the one driving that. Stereotype issue is there, cultural beliefs, social constraint, fairness, equity versus equity, equality, diversity and inclusion. Then we conclude and look at the references. Okay, by way of introduction, it's been only 2% of this figure work on construction sites. This is where my career, sometimes ago when I moved into Abuja as a core member, I was privileged to, to be posted to the Central Bank of Nigeria head office complex, where Actor Engineer Nkechi worked. And as a young core member then, from the consultant end, I was the only the contractor. Then I think some ladies from Germany, about 2 of them, less than 6 of us were on that project site, as massive as that project was. Now, as a young girl, lady, I got married on that site, and you know what that means, because I was retained after my service as a resident architect. I became pregnant on that site, and I had my baby on that site. Now, when we go, site inspection is every day, and it's not less than 2 hours. Then technical meeting every Tuesday, and of course, monthly coordination meeting. During my early pregnancy, I remember when we were on inspection, and sometimes when you are a bit down and you're just trying to move back while others are going, they're like, "Madam, what are you doing at the back?" Some comments from men. "Are you pregnant?" Move on. So I think such comments should be discouraged. And of course, when the pregnancy became obvious, 2 of us got pregnant at the same time, the QS lady and myself. And sometimes when we are together, even actually discussing projects, we'll be told, "Are you having an antenatal meeting or something?" So we try to move away to the conference room to have our meetings to avoid such comments. Now, this percentage is most likely to increase in the coming years. I'm not saying let me move to where I can say, I hope this is okay. It's going to increase in the coming years, more and more women, with more and more women going into construction management and related fields. And we need to do that. That's a challenge for us. How do we do that? The construction industry must be one in which everyone is welcome, regardless of gender, race, disability, or identification. Bridging the diversity gap is actually beneficial to both employees and employers. And if we let them know this, they might be encouraged to have more of us. It can make the company attractive to would-be employees and even clients. Also give room to more creative ideas. Like our panelists said, women are really very creative. If they know what we can bring to the table, I'm sure they will welcome more of us, and we need to do that. The construction industry is still a male-dominated field. Women still desire and deserve to earn their respect. Equality in payment is still a big challenge. I've seen a situation where a woman was asking employer, "Please, I need to pay my house rent. I need my housing allowance." They're like, "You are a woman. What do you need house rent for? Your husband will pay." So the glass ceiling must be continually shattered, and the time to do that is now. Women, let's stand up and do this. Next slide, please. There's one before this, I guess. Okay, so women were first used as construction workers and laborers in the 13th century, going into history now. They were used as hewers of wood and fetchers of water. Pure women were part of working on stone structures in cities. They later graduated into skilled construction workers around 17th century in France, England, and Germany. Record added that women in construction were not officially kept. So records of women in construction were not officially kept, as it was socially and morally unacceptable for women to be involved in hard labor, as it was believed that they were physically unfit to do so. Is this true? No. The Industrial Revolution of the mid-18th century altered the narratives, as more women, including the middle class, were now openly and officially involved in construction works as carpenters, masons, and some of them also went into craft. Emily Warren Roebling was one of the first female engineers who directed the construction and completion of the Brooklyn Bridge when her husband, Washington Roebling, got ill. She ensured the project's success and was appreciated for it. President Chester also invited her to ride with him across the full length of the bridge in 1883 just to recognize and honor her. And I think we need to do this for women so that they can be motivated and come out. Now we have the first lady that led the building project in Britain, Lady Anne Clifford. Her story is a very compelling one. Her father had left an estate for her. And just because she was a woman and she was young, the uncle took over the estate. And when the uncle died, he gave it to the son. She had to go into legal battle for 44 years to make sure that estate was reverted to her. And with this, she was involved in lots of projects. She became very wealthy, and she was able to influence our world as at that time. This is what we should do. We have the first woman architect to make her own designs. Okay, she was designing, but she couldn't even own up to it. Why? Because she must not be seen as doing that. So Christopher Wren, a man, had to take credit for most of her jobs. This is not acceptable. This is what women face. We have the first female architect, a woman. Then Ethel Charles was the first professional recognized architect. She was, absorbed into the rise of architects at that time. Women were not allowed to. In fact, they had to be, even after passing her exam, it has to be put into a vote, 51 against 16, before she could be admitted into the Royal Institute of British Architects, RIBA. And of course, there were Gopi who patented the first piling of bridge. Next. So they actually did a lot. Please join your professional association, participate, volunteer, and be financial also. Pay your dues. That's another way we can make women strong. Dame Caroline was the first secretary of the Women's Engineering Society. She was a reformer, and she inspired a lot of young girls to follow in that suit. We need to do that. Amy Johnson was the first ground engineer. She flew solo from England to Australia. That was a woman. Erin Barclay, the first female sheltered surveyor. She actually improved housing condition in the slum in our area. So we need to be doing something, women. Nobody's just going to give it to us. We demand for this story there. The Ladies' Bridge was constructed by 350 women during the Third World War. They couldn't carry guns, but they were busy constructing, even during the war. We have Alice Perry, the first woman to graduate with a degree in engineering. It was no mean feat then. And then, of course, Florence Nightingale. She's not a woman in construction. She's a nurse, a reformer, but she did something because of her passion that influenced and changed the design and layout of hospital design up to now. Because of her passion for patient care, she influenced the lighting and ventilation of hospital designs, and that has been adopted. It's been adopted up to today. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have some construction myths here, and I would like to highlight some of them. Working in construction is dangerous and bad for your health. I'm not sure that is true. Some of us have been there for over a decade, and we're still very much alive, and it's exciting and we're enjoying it. Construction means working out in the cold or in the sun. That's part of the myth that will distract some people from, joining the construction industry. I did well in school. Construction is not for me. That's not true, because some of us are here and we're not dollars. It only benefits people who work or invest in it. It's not true. Construction is the largest employer of labor, and it contributes to the country GDP. You agree with me? It's traditional and old-fashioned. No. With the emergence of technology and digitalization, this scenario is changing. A dirty industry, bad for the environment. No. With green construction now, this scenario is being changed. And of course, they said it's job for the boys. It's not true. We can make it a job for the girls. Next, please. Some challenges women face during their career experience in construction. Hostile working environment. The issue of sexism is there. Pregnancy discrimination, I've mentioned that. Sexual harassment. A lot of women face this, but they don't, come out to admit to it. Wide gap in wages and salary. The women need the money, the salaries, as much as the men do need. They've gone to school, they have siblings, they're underrepresentation in trades and executive positions. This needs to be improved. Congratulations to you for what your company did. That's a nice one, and other companies should please follow suit. Safety equipment mostly are even designed for men. They are designed for men, so this needs to change. Shared bedroom is not acceptable. You need to work twice as hard as your male counterpart if you must be recognized. That situation, occupational stress is there. Unconscious gender bias, enormous gender gap. Work-life conflict. You're a nursing mother. You need to take care of your husband, take care of the home. That you are in construction doesn't mean your family must fail. It's not an excuse. So you must just balance it. Lack of child care support, like our panelists mentioned, crèche is very important. Like I whispered to Engineer Nkechi that the head office building, we didn't have a crèche there, that they should look at that and make sure we have a crèche now in the head office building. The African Development Bank was also designed by my office, completed. There was no crèche at the time we handed over, but after that project was completed, we were called back to come and put a crèche there, and we have done that design. So it's important that we support women to really deliver on what more women into construction. Please give them a seat at the table. Stop putting us on the menu list. Encourage women to speak up, set clear expectations, and provide feedback. We must raise awareness, advocacy, and visibility. Provide mentorship to younger women. Let's do this. Please, it's very important. And let's do it right from the onset, from the nursery school. Primary school is even already late. Let's start early. Let's mentor younger women. Let's network like we're doing now. Support less experienced women for new opportunities. This is really very important if we must take that number from 15% to 50%. Set goals around female involvement. Then STEM education must be encouraged right from the early stage for girls is important. Next, thank you. Now, be interested about women's concern, and let's address it. They are not as aggressive as men when it's time to hunt for jobs. So we need to recognize this and give them that opportunity to deliver, like Engineer Nkechi did in the cooperative. Motivation, they need to be motivated. Please reward and recognize them when they have done well. You can even offer them family leave, paid leave. This will encourage them. Showcase women role models. Women to be educated about the benefit of working in the industry. We need to consciously do this. Let's break the glass ceiling. We need strong government support for women. Implementation of fair, inclusive, and friendly policies. Policies that will support women empowerment needs to be introduced, and the government needs to be serious about it and implement it, not just have it on paper. The need for flexible working arrangements and growth opportunities for women. The work environment needs to be more female-friendly. Older women to inspire younger generations to follow in their steps. And if we must do that, we must lead by example. We must be good example for other women to want to follow us, I mean younger women. Okay, embracing equity and equality. Women were excluded from formal education, I mean in the 18th century, but philanthropists such as Angela Boddington-Coates supported the building of hundreds of rag schools. What are we supporting? What am I supporting? How do we want to change this narrative? Are we just going to be talking about it, or we're going to put it into action? These women did something at their time, and that's why we're talking about them. It was believed then that girls were not suited for education like boys. That was the belief then. They were not even given the opportunity to go to school. But these women changed that narrative. This opinion had to be corrected by educationists such as Frances Mary Bowles, who opened a secondary school for girls in London at that time, which later became North London Collegiate. She was the first female of the Chartered Collegiate of Teaching. Women were not fully admitted into the university until 1948. I was stuck with that. Emily Davis and Barbara Boddington moved for women to sit for exams and gain admissions and degrees. They did something, so we need to do something. And also in Nigeria, we have this strong, amazing 7 women who are leading the women group for the allied professional bodies in Nigeria, the NIA, the NSA, NIQS, NIOB, NIESV. So we congratulate them on this International Women's Day. Next slide, please. In conclusion, the construction industry has gone through a lot of changes in the last couple of decades. Safety issues and digital technology are helping in driving and changing the narratives. There's no better time for women to get into this industry than now. A woman's place is where she wants it to be, and you only can determine that. You only can determine that. I only can determine that. You are an important member of the value chain. The great, so don't be discouraged, women. More and more women are being promoted into leadership and executive level in the organization in the last 5 years, and the trend must continue. Let's pick some lessons from the ants. No one tells the ants what to do. They just wake up and go about doing the right thing. Doing the right thing. They wake up in the morning and go about their businesses of searching for food. They look out for one another. When they get food, they call one another. They mobilize themselves. They protect themselves. They build when it is time to build. They protect one another. Even the termites protect the queen and defend the termitarium. No one will place equity and equality on our laps. We've got to demand for it by showing competence, capacity, knowledge, expertise, and the required skills. This is the only way equity and equality can be determined, demanded, delivered, and embraced. Happy International Women's Day. Next. Okay, the references. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for what? Thank you so much,
The
ma'am.
Managing Director of News Engineering Nigeria Limited. News Engineering is a foremost electrical indigenous company. It has been in existence for the past 40 years. Exactly 10th of March this year, it will be 40 years in business. So we are into
Thank you very much. So while you're sorting this out, I don't know, we're having some technical issues. So while we are sorting this out, I would like to call on our next panel that would, for the second panel discussion, and this will be moderated by the person, architect Ochudo Ayi. That would be our moderator. Yes. Oh, so sorry. Sorry, the moderator for the second panel would be Engineer Hawa Zubairu. Engineer Hawa Zubairu, please a round of applause as she comes on. A round of applause, please. Then also we have Builder Lamikawu Mohammed. She's not around. Oh.
How many of them?
Then also we have architect Moradeke Okunremboye. She's not around. We have architect Agatha Christie Irabo. A round of applause. Then also we have engineer Tony Juliet Alozie. Engineer Tony Juliet Alozie.
Good evening, achievements of women globally, and I am glad to be here to be a moderator for the wonderful panelists that we have here who have contributed immensely to the development of the construction industry. My name is Hawa Zubair, I'm an electrical engineer, and to my right is...
Okay, my name is architect Agatha Christie Irabo. I'm an architect and a
be here, though. I would say our discussion today, redefining the tradition and building a better future for women in the industry. Panelists, your agreement in everything that we do, and that will chart the course for us to seek the equity and inclusion that we seek in this industry, in the male-dominated industry. So I would ask, what inspired you to pursue a career in...
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I come from a family of, I am the only technical person as I speak right now in my family, and I'm talking of my extended maternal and paternal families. So it was a deliberate move. You see, right from a young age, my parents always wanted me to drawing. I could draw. And during the course of my just 1 years, you find me doing a lot of drawing and even writing little stories here and there for my classmates and all of that. And some of these things actually change when people begin to talk to you about certain things. And then my eyes were open to other options for me. And of course, when I got to SS and it was time to begin to get a profession out, I stood my grounds, despite the fact that I actually had a session with my father. My father insisted, okay, if I don't want to go for medicine, I could go for pharmacy. Why am I going? The thing about it was, I was not just interested in design. The last panel, a lot of people talked about designers, architects. From the onset, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to go into construction proper. So even when I was a student architect, the prerequisite years that, months that we are given to do the IT, you find out that while my colleagues were in the studio doing all the drawings and all of that in some of these architectural firms that I did my IT with, I always insisted that I would go to the site. So as early as my 200 levels, I had perfected the knowledge of knowing how to put foundations, even in marshy lands, because all my IT period, I found myself doing that in Lagos. So you can imagine, it was a deliberate thing. And what I want to say today for all of us listening, and maybe beyond, whatever you do, when you make up your mind to go into the construction industry, or if you have people under your tutelage, it is a deliberate thing. It is something that, you have to make up your mind and you must fight for it. It's not going to come easy. I'm sure when I say this, I'm speaking to all the ladies who are present here. Nobody, as long as you are in the construction industry right now, it is not an easy thing. You must show yourself. You must, as a matter of principle, know what you're about. If you don't, you'll be kicked out. It's as simple as that.
Thank you very much. I hear passion, and I think this happened to me. This didn't really happen to me, though. My parents really forced me to study engineering. But I think along the line, my love for mathematics kept me going, because to be an electrical engineer, you must do calculations. Yeah. And to stay on the job is you have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing, and it's something you must love. And I think along the line, I loved it because I love perfection. That's great. So I would ask you, engineer, what challenges have you faced in the industry, in an industry that's dominated by male?
Well, as for me, I didn't grow up in a family where nobody cares what you want to read. I grew up in a family, anyone you want to do, good luck. Nobody will care how your result is all about. But from the beginning, I knew that I don't like where women are really. And I don't like all these girl things doing baby things. I'm always where they play ball, no boy tell me no, it will not be done. No, I don't take no. So, and I'm very creative. So after secondary school, I knew that, let me do mechanical, and I did well. But the thing is that nobody wants to hear you in the classroom. Even when they are doing debates, they would say, no. Don't put your name. Yeah, I must put my name. You don't have to play ball. No, I want to be the referee. Those things. But it has been good, but it has just been determination, because I don't take no for an answer.
How do you deal with stereotyping? Because sexism, we know that working with men, they look at you and the first thing they're saying is you're fragile. And it's an industry that they think they need muscles. So
it has not been easy. I remember when I got job, the first thing the supervisor would tell me, she read mechanical. She wants to come and head us. And before you know, she wants to become... so the things he's supposed to assign to me, he boycotts me to give. So I just remain calm. That time he's using to... He thought he was cheating me. I was using it to acquire more skill. So immediately he left. A better person came and saw I've acquired more, and it was an advantage to me. So sometimes it is difficult. They will bring you down. But in that time where they are bringing you down, it's an opportunity to build more of yourself. It's a miracle in disguise. When it comes, it's just to show who you are. The little one you show will bring you out.
That's great. Little one will really bring you out, make you stand out in everything you do. You have to keep pushing, you have to keep developing yourself, I would say. Yeah, so architect, I would ask you, how do you cope and ensure that it doesn't lead to certain ailments? Because we know that stress, discrimination can definitely affect our mental health. So how do you cope with this? It doesn't lead to ailments like heart issues. It doesn't lead to ailments like gastrointestinal disorder. That's the ulcer that we have. How do you cope with this?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I earlier said, going into architecture was deliberate, and I didn't have role models. I had to create role models for myself, look out for role models, because there weren't any immediately in the family circle. So I had to create role models, get role models. And I will encourage women in the construction industry, get role models. You learn a lot from them, and it actually directs your path to be able to handle some of these stress that comes with the job. Truth be told, I don't see discrimination and the stresses that come with a woman being in the construction industry, going out of, if you call it fashion, anytime soon. It's not gonna go away. And that's just the truth. So we must find a way around living with it. And as I said, the most important thing is to try and grow yourself, is to try and be the best in what you're doing. It's to try and gain all the necessary knowledge. Look, if you are in the construction industry, in the field, and you are needed to lead. For like an architect, you are needed to lead, you are needed to direct and all of that, and you're unable to. You don't expect that because you're a woman, all of that will just be swept under the carpet. You are out. So, and being a woman also makes, just like the conversations that have been going on from the onset of this program up till now, you realize that we are disadvantaged because the world looks at us as the fairer sex. We are not strong enough to do this. We are not strong enough to think about this. We are not strong enough to do all of that. But I tell you that women are even stronger than men. because the emotional capabilities that women are capable of, men can't handle it. In all honesty, you know, and I've been in practice for over 2 decades, and I can tell you that I run my own practice. I have my own architectural practice, and right about now I do a lot of consultancies and do partnerships. You know, that's what I do. And you realize that you must balance the two, especially for those who have families. You know, like you have a husband, you have children, you have other extended families. We are Africans, we are Nigerian women, so you can't rule that out. I mean, even if you don't have immediate families like a husband and children, you also have parents who you may be taking care of. You have younger ones and possibly other members of your families who will be looking up to you. So you must balance all of that with your work. And my advice would be that in doing your work, you must find a balance for yourself. As a woman, for those who know me very well, I take out time to, you know, find time for myself. And sometimes I go out for holidays all on my own, without my husband, without my family, just, you know, to have myself, my time. You know, I encourage women to, you know, even if you don't go out of your homes, once in a while, you treat yourself to a nice lunch. When you're going out after work, you get 1 or 2 things that you like, and be selfish about it. I don't know how this, some women here will take it. Be selfish, and even be selfish to your children. If you want something, just look at them. When they are moving all around, you say, I've heard you, I've seen you. But what you're doing is for you. It's your own time. You know, this has worked for me. No, I have to tell you, because that question you asked, emotional stability and all of that, is something that is, people don't talk about a lot, but it's extremely critical to our daily lives as women. You know, you get to a time when you are so completely stressed out as a woman. You have finished your job, possibly if you are in the field. You have had a very hectic day, supervising maybe 1 or 2 sites, and then you go back home. Guess what? You still have to go to the kitchen to be able to see that, even if when you have mates and all of that, you still want to see that your children have had 12 just a couple of days ago. I have a son who is 24 now, so I paid the price of motherhood in construction. So when I tell you things, I'm telling you from experience. You know, so you do all of these things, and the next thing you know, you are going to bed sometimes around 12:01, and you have to wake up again, possibly to get your families for prayers, and, you know, starting your day all over again. So you must create your psychological, your physical, and what have you, you know, and it puts you together.
Thank you. You know, she said we have to create time for ourselves. We need to seek balance. We need to enjoy ourselves while doing what we love to do. When you have the time, you take a break, you go for vacations, and whilst also doing that, go for vacations in places that you know there's a conference that is holding, while you're also networking to find existing tradition for women and build them for better future. In what ways can we redefine the existing tradition, the tradition that we have, and for women, and build them for better future?
It all depends on all of us. Yes. It's a global work. Not only me as a woman, every woman has a way of making this tradition change for our own good. And I believe if we come together and make one voice, I believe the world will hear us.
Okay, good.
Sincerely.
Truly,
Yeah.
truly, we cannot keep asking for equity, we cannot keep asking for equality if we are not at par with the men. If you are not doing things, I agree with you, if you're not doing things differently. What advice will you give young women who are considering to pursue a career in construction?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. What advice will I give? In the first instance, I will advise that for the younger generation planning to join, go into architecture and invariably going into the construction industry, you must, as a matter of principle, make up your mind to follow it to the fullest. Because we have the last panel of discussants talked about women. One of the panelists talked about women who it trickles down, and then when you have gone into the field, it also trickles down. Now, the best way we can actually help ourselves is to, the young ones to help themselves, is to make up their minds from the onset that you're not just going to go into architecture, engineering, quantity surveying, and all of that just for the purpose of going to the university. You must pursue it to the letter. Now, if you take a statistics of men who have gone to the university to study all of these allied courses, architecture and the allied courses, how many of them drop out completely from core practice? It's a small percentage. And even those who actually drop out of this go into other fields that they try to excel, right? So my advice would be that if you're going into the end of it, try to if for instance you're not going into core practice, you're possibly in the educational sector, follow it through. Become a professor in architecture, become a professor in engineering and all of that. Because by the time you're at the peak of your career, when you open your mouth to say something, people will listen to you. And if you're in the construction industry, do not allow people push you around. No, learn new skills. The only thing that is constant is change, and our construction industry changes practically every other year. There are new innovations coming up. You see the presentation that was given by our host. The executive director started this in about 24 years ago. And then 5 years into the business, he realized that I have to diversify, go somewhere else. And he did. And another 10 years later, he knew that he had to do something. So I would advise women who are going into diversify. Now, even if you come in as an architect and you are not sure you can go into full practice, pick up an arm of architecture and pursue it to the fullest. That's my advice. Do not just go study it and then come back and just sit at home, begin to produce children, and then when somebody asks you, you say you're an architect. But when you are brought to the table with your contemporaries to be able to discuss and talk, you are nowhere. It really doesn't make sense.
The drive, keep pushing yourself. The drive has to be there. We have several branches. If it's architecture you want to venture into, I would say for women, or if it's engineering, for example, I would say electrical engineering, we have so many branches. We have measurement and instrumentation, we have electronics, we have power. There are segments of the electrical that are very simple, that is not so difficult, that you can actually take and follow it through to the latter. I would say drive. Men are driven, not just money, but they are driven. So we need to also be driven. Your advice to young women.
Anything that is worth doing. Anything that is worth doing is worth doing well. Maybe before we go into it, we should think very well, what do I really want? What do I like? So that at the end of the day, it will not be like a part-time work. You go into it, you learn it, and say, after all, I have a degree. If they say, who go school, I did there. No, be the best in it. If it's going to be a fashion, because I remember when I was to get admission, I didn't pass JAM the first time. I went into fashion designing. And at the end of the day, the madam was saying, no go school now. You are very good in this thing. I was creative. So I said, don't go school when it's not course. So anything that is worth doing well. You do it well and you be the best. So if you know you can't do that, look for the one you can do so that you'll be superb in it.
You be creative, not just fashion. Even in engineering, you can be creative, and with creativity, we would all go far. Your final words, architect. Your final words.
Okay, yeah. The International Women's Day, we all know is a day we celebrate women around the world, and what we are doing here, we're actually celebrating ourselves. And I want to thank the organizers of the event for coming up with something like this. And we need to always encourage ourselves. We need to put ourselves out there as women. You know, when there's something to be done, do not allow the men to take over. Put yourself out there, you know. And the theme for this year is, I think, embracing the digital world for all. And I want to say that construction is becoming quite digital, right? I was, you realize that the methods of construction, we may not have gotten it that well here in Nigeria, but other climes of the world, you realize that most of the things that we do in construction, they really don't do that the way they do. And all of this have to do with AI. You know, when you're talking of being digital, it encompasses a whole lot of things. I would say that now, even for those who are going into construction, you know, in any of the allied fields, you don't want to go into the practical aspect of it, as in field work, you know, and all of that. You can actually, if you're good with numbers, coding, you know, and all of that, you can look for a branch of construction and get items, how do I call it now, softwares that can actually simplify works in the construction industry. I just wanted to bring out what the world is celebrating today and opening up the vistas of the world for women to be part of, you know, encouraging every sector, not just the construction industry, to, you know, bring up young ones, older ones, and all of that to be digitally inclined, because the world we live in now is all about data. Without data, there's just about nothing you can do right now. So I encourage, my last word to be that whatever we are doing, for those of us who are established, get into the digital, you know, get in with the things that are trending now, you know, so you will not be left behind.
Okay, thank you. Your last word in 30 seconds.
Well, we should be there for one another as women. Please, it is a very serious matter now. We should be there for one another. I don't believe at this age we keep envying ourselves. That is why the men are really going with speed. We should be there. We should be happy for each other. We should be there to support one another. We should not bring ourselves down because we are not doing ourselves good.
Thank you. From all that has been said here, I'll wrap it with, we've discussed that the paradigm needs to shift from our traditional approach of doing things to more digital ways of doing things. We need to be more creative. We should identify mentors who we can look up to. We can watch them how they do things to also make us excel. We should be more creative. We should be focused. And I'll round it up by saying we should be firm, assertive, not rude. Firm, be assertive, and don't be rude. Bring in your soft skill as a woman. I am, because we all are.
Thank you so much.
It has been in existence for the past 40 years. Exactly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Engineer Hawa and the panel. Thank you so much. That was actually very insightful. Thank you. So there's a video we're supposed to see. I don't know. The technical guys, are you ready now? Okay. Please, let's.
My name is Lady Josephine Weze. I'm the managing director. Most electrical indigenous company. It has been in existence for the past 40 years. Exactly 10th of March this year, it will be 40 years in business. So we are into rural electrification, statewide rural electrification. We build substations of different sizes. For example, 2 by 60 MVA substations. We also build transmission line projects, and we are deeply involved in renewable energy. We have delivered quite a number of projects. One indigenous company in Nigeria. So you know that to celebrate 40 years in business in Nigeria is a laudable one, and we are planning it big. We're just waiting for the elections to be over. So this is a time for us to blow our trumpet, because we know it's not an easy feat for a company in West Africa or in Africa to be in business for 40 years. These are the kind of things we hear abroad, you know. So this is who we are. I call myself an accidental chief executive. Accidental in the sense that, well, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a trained engineer. I'm a lawyer by training. I'm an engineer by association, and I'm a management consultant by practice. I'm going to explain this. The pioneer managing director of News Engineering, who happens to be my husband, died in the year 2006 in a plane crash. And after the crash, you know, we needed a successor. We needed somebody to step into the shoes. So that was how I find myself as the managing director of News Engineering. And that explains why I said that I'm an engineer by association. Over years, it's been 17 years I've been, you know, in this capacity as the managing director of News Engineering. So I've related deeply into engineering organizations. We're into FAME membership with Nigerian Society of Engineers. By my virtue of being a managing director of an electrical company, it means that I have to relate with other engineering organizations like Nigerian Society of Engineers. So I relate quite a lot with engineers. So that's why I pride myself as an engineer by association. And by practice, I'm a management consultant. I did my master's in management, business administration, and then I manage trained engineers. I manage people, so because that's my area. I have series of experiences. There are a lot of other projects that I had learned one or two things, but the most spectacular one is a 2x60 MVA substation project that we executed in Abuja, Kukwaba, very close to National Stadium. This project was originally awarded to a Chinese company who did the procurement and abandoned the project. Because, our mentality, we believe so much in foreign companies. So when this project was abandoned, there was need for clients to look around, to look in-house now, so to say, to look for a company that could do the construction. So we were consulted, and then we constructed that project within a couple of months. During the commissioning, the minister said everybody that was there described the project as a world-class project. And he was asking, are we sure that this was, constructed by an indigenous company? So most times we don't believe in ourselves, which is a problem to us. So that project, I was so proud because we were able to deliver what a foreign company couldn't deliver. So the lessons actually that I learned is that when you believe in yourself, you can go the extra mile. So because I wasn't scared by the fact that that project was awarded to a foreign company. I believed in myself. I believed in what the company can do. There are challenges everywhere. I don't want to believe that challenges are, that challenges are only experienced when you work as an engineer. Every profession has its peculiar challenge, but engineering being a male-dominated profession, one of the challenges most women, experience is the fact that anytime there is a meeting that happens to, like in my case, when I assume this position, I happen to see myself in the midst of men. Anywhere I go, I'm talking from the point of view of a private sector as a business owner. So most of the challenges I had when I started was always being the only woman in the house. Any meeting I go, I must be the only woman. So it took a little bit of time for me to get used to it. But I actually know that I need to believe in myself and what I have to offer. So when I had to trust in what I can offer, what the company can offer, it's not about being a woman that is a problem. You don't have to see being a woman as a disadvantage. So if you know that you can offer what the society needs, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be a woman or a man. So long as you know what you believe in and that you can deliver, then whatever challenge comes your way is something that you can deal with.
Thank you so much. So this was Lady Josephine, and if you actually want to complete the video, this longer video, you can check on our YouTube channel on icreateafrica.com, their YouTube channel, so you get the full video, get the full message on that. So for now, we are running out of time, and obviously it's not over until it's over, but we are getting there. At this point, we just want to do closing remarks from Madam Princess K. Olufade, and I deserve to be flogged at this point. Seriously. An architect. No, I'll do it. I'll do it. Architect Zuleha. I'm so sorry.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. We're really happy that you stayed this far. We congratulate you all because we have mostly women here, a few gentlemen. Thank you for coming. I would like to thank my team, Miracle, Mary Ann, my PA that doesn't want anybody to be my PA, Samira. Thank you so much. our crew, the team, Option A, we always appreciate you. Thank you so much. We are very, very happy to have you all here. I also want to thank Princess. Princess has a team of marvelous people. Our MCs were all from Ilbano. The Ilbano team will also take you on a tour. So Princess, please, I don't know the name of all your team members. Kindly appreciate them one by one.
Thank you so much, Architect Zulaiha. Thank you everyone for coming. I want to say thank you especially to my team members, Praise, Kelechi, and Inkiru, the guys that are giving us refreshment. Thank you so much. And to the founders of Black Pelican Group, Mr. Michael Owolabi and Mrs. Adetola Owolabi, thank you so much for making this happen. And thank you so much, iCreate Africa, for partnering with us. We are looking forward to having a bigger event next year. And there's something I learned today, and I want to say, as a woman, go for what you want. Do not wait for someone to hand it over to you. Go there, grab it, and be good at what you do. Because if something is handed over to you and you don't manage it properly, it will be taken away from you. So do not wait for somebody to speak out for you. Speak for yourself. And also speak for other women. And also have an open mind. Do not defeat yourself first as a woman. Always believe in yourself. And also, at the end of the day, be happy that we are all women. Thank you so much, and happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much. Our panelists, our presenter, Architect DME, News Engineering, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I think we're going to have a tour. Before the tour, we'll have final photographs. Kindly move to the backdrop so that we can have our final photographs before we go for our tour. Thank you.
So we have our team waiting on each floor to show you around and then explain our products to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See my shoulder, make you rest upon me. You know I got you. Now me be your friend indeed. My money don't show now. I don't keep some for you. You know go so far. Cause anything I get now for me and you. Yeah. How are you, my friend? How do you do, my friend?
Please, our panelists, can you just come to our backdrop so we take a picture? Our panelists, please.